My name is Eric Pinkney. Running on a ticket with Carol Jones and Joe Grillo, Continue to Progress. I've been an active member of Asbury Park for over a decade. Been a resident for about 8 years. A few things I do. I'm a member of different organizations, groups in the community. I also am the founder, and I've instituted one of the most successful fundraising events in New Jersey. It's the Pink Prom. It's held every May. We give all the money, proceeds back to the community and in Asbury Park, and it's held at the Tides in Asbury Park every year. It's been successful for 5 years. I've also, as a member, I work for the Gannett, and in that process, I've also been the editor of the Day in the Life of a High School, where we go out and work with different students in schools throughout Monmouth and Ocean County, and help them in the field of journalism, English, photography, and we publish each month all their work in our paper, in Gannett's, and also in their schools. I've also been an instructor for the Young Publishers Program in Philadelphia. I'm a writing coach for them. In the past, I have worked with all students in the Philadelphia schools to write, edit, illustrate, and publish their own children's books. It's a great program that they have out there. That was pretty enjoyable. I'm mainly running to be able to do something more for the students and the teachers in Asbury Park. I want to make sure that what has been put in place stays in place. The current superintendent has been doing a good job. Test scores are up, dropout rate has decreased, and also he's instituted particular programs that have been instrumental. The Parent Center, where it helps parents get their GEDs, and through the literacy program. And I think that also if we continue to do programs like that, that the superintendent has worked on, that it will be beneficial for the students, the teachers, and the parents. Also, another reason why I'm running is I love the field of education. I love working with students. I've been a volunteer for many programs, as I already mentioned earlier. And I think that it's beneficial that we continue the path that we've already started with the superintendent, and that we don't go back to the way things were before. We're on a positive path, and I think we should continue that path. One concern I have is the introduction of charter schools. I know they have their positive qualities, but I think that takes away from the public school system. Charter schools, publicly funded, they don't have a lot of, how shall I say, sometimes the structure is how they sometimes want it to be, and I think that it causes almost a competition between charter and public. Also, when from what I understand, when a student who's at a charter school goes back into the public school system, the money that's allotted for them to go to the charter school, it's not returned. It doesn't get back to the public schools. And I think that one thing I would like to do is try to analyze a better way to help to structure that type of situation. And I think on the board I'll be able to look into different ways to help those situations. Also, another reason why I want to be on the board. And a concern I do have about the schools is I want to make sure that the teachers continue to get the respect they deserve. There are different programs that are in place already, and I think that if everyone works together, it will be a beneficial thing in the end for everyone concerned, for the students, for the teachers, for the parents, for the community as a whole. Another concern, it's not really a concern, another reason why I want to run is, or that I think if I'm on the board that I'll be able to help out as well. Helping to get more programs like, for instance, the Young Publishers Program I mentioned earlier that I've been involved with in Philly. I think that would be a great program. Not only that, but others, that if we start bringing more of those programs to Asbury Park, I think it would be a great benefit for everyone. And being on the board, I think I might be able to help facilitate those programs getting and becoming a reality. Also, what's set up already, the Dream Academy, where the superintendent has put in place where students are able to get college credits while they're still in high school from Brookdale. I want to make sure that programs like that continue to play a part in the school system. That's a great program. It gives students a way to benefit from the school system, and also getting a leg up out there so that they have a chance ahead of time. And I want to make sure that programs like Dream Academy and other programs are not cut or jeopardized in any way. That's something else that's a concern that I want to be a part of, making a change for the better and continuing that change.
My name is James Famularo. I've been living in Asbury Park for 51 years. That's because I'm 51 years old. I graduated from Asbury Park High School in 1983. From there I went to the University of Pittsburgh, known as Pitt. I also earned my Master's in Public Administration from the University of Pittsburgh also. I've been a municipal employee, assistant city manager for well over 19 years. I worked for the Housing Authority, Asbury Park Housing Authority for 1 year. I've always been an Asbury Park person. You know, I've been coaching in this municipality or this community for close to 30 years. You know, when I was in college, I was actually coaching Little League baseball. And the greatest thing I liked about Little League when I became Little League umpire, that was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Today, I work with Source for Teachers, and I'm also still involved with coaching basketball and football. I graduated from Asbury Park High School in 1983, and I believe that in order to see the school system, you know, grow, I believe we need to tackle the holistic, or see it from a holistic point of view. The school is moving in the right, you know, in the right direction, but to truly address kids graduating, I'd like to see more be successful. As of now, it's like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Approaching from a holistic point of view I think is the true reason is why I'm running for the Board of Ed. When I say holistic, what I mean is that we have to address the neighborhoods, the communities. We need to hire parents and residents that live in the neighborhood, because Asbury Park is one of the poorest communities in the state of New Jersey. And in fact, it may be like the second poorest community in the state of New Jersey, one above Camden. So if you want to see a school to be successful and functional, you have to address the economics in the neighborhoods, because you don't see poor schools in wealthy neighborhoods. and you don't see high-performing school districts in poor neighborhoods. So if you want to see some growth, you really have to take a look what's going on in the neighborhoods, and that's where I'm, would like to get involved with the Board of Ed, because we spend a lot of our time, just doing little things for little growth. I like to be involved with doing big things for gigantic growth. The school system, I won't say it's dysfunctional. I would never say that, because both of my two sons can read and write, and they are not struggling in college, and nor did I really actually struggling in college myself. But the way I see it is that our high school graduates, we need to focus on what happens after them when they graduate. I'm not a big fan of standard right test scores, because I don't think they truly measure my ability when I was in high school and when I graduated. But I think that one of the fundamental reasons why I'm running, I like to see that 70 students that do graduate on a regular basis either go into college, join the military, be part of some vocational school or technical school, or the school system should work on preparing them for the workforce in terms of employability skill sets, or get involved in teaching them how to be self-employed. That's the true measure if a school is successful or not. It's addressing those 5 areas. To me, standardized test scores are not the appropriate measuring utensil, but I understand that's what the state of New Jersey, the Department of Education, used to evaluate how the schools are doing from their point of view.
So my name is Joe Grillo. I'm running for Asbury Park School Board with Eric Pinkney and Carol Jones. The election's this April 25th. I'm an 11-year resident of Asbury Park. One of the reasons why I'm running is because we see a lot of progress happening in the school system, finally, after decades of seeing our school system slide back. A lot of that has to do with the work that Superintendent Repillette has done in terms of shifting focus to literacy. And so we're starting to see test scores go up. We're starting to see the dropout rate fall precipitously. And also our cost per student has gone down, which is a first. So the literacy program is working. Everything is going in the right direction. We still need a lot of work. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we feel like we're up for the challenge. So in terms of myself and why I want to run, my field is in terms of my small business experience. I'm a small business owner, and I'm also Director of Development for a statewide nonprofit, New Jersey Audubon Society. I work with kids almost every day. I fundraise for them for programs to get kids closer to nature. And those are the two main things in terms of experience that I bring to the board. We are beholden to the taxpayers and the students, and I feel like my small business background helps in that. 5, 10, 15 years ago, where there was a dysfunctional school board, there was corruption, there was fraud going on, and we now finally have a board that is professional, that is headed in the right direction, that's in sync with our superintendent, and we feel the need to continue that progress. One of the things that we want to do is to move the elections that are currently in April to November. That right off the bat will save taxpayers $50,000 in terms of expenditures. We also want to expand the Dream Academy so more kids in the school system can receive college credit as they're getting their high school diploma. And we also want to do an energy audit to save money on utilities. These are all hidden costs that we feel we could save money and also expand success for the students. Well, the biggest concern right now is really that we can't slide back to where we were 5, 10, 15 years ago when there were board members that spent more time in court than they did on the board. We feel that there was a very, very bad time for a long time for our school district. And with the current majority on the school board and the hiring of Dr. Repollet, I think that we've turned a corner, and we need to keep that progress going. Like I said before, there's still a lot of work to be done, but we feel that we need to stay the course. We owe that to the taxpayers, we owe that to the students, and we owe that to the families.
My connection to the community, not just to the district, the school district, is that of one that's been embedded in me, instilled in me, and quite frankly, taught to me from day one. Since I can remember, all I wanted to do was serve the community of Asbury Park, and I don't see a better way of doing that than through our students, our children, our youth. I don't see a better way of doing it than working with the community organizations that are out here. I don't see it better, no other way than working directly with parents for those kids who might need a little extra attention that I can relate to, because I am one of those kids. I don't think that right now that our children are properly represented in our community or in our district, because the district has made great strides. So as it pertains to education, I'm a forever student. I believe in learning at all costs. I believe at teaching at all costs. So education is not just formal, it's in between the covers of books, the front and back covers of books. Education is what you can learn from the man or woman next to you. Education is what you're willing to put out into the universe, or put out to be disseminated to the younger generation. So when you speak of education, I want to be specific and letting you know that education is vast. That is a broad word. So when we talk about education, I myself, I hold 2 degrees. I'm currently seeking a third, my doctorate degree in educational leadership from Wilmington College or Wilmington University. Right now, I just believe that our kids are being equipped. So far up until this point, before Dr. Repollet has come, our kids have been ill-equipped. We had administrators working hard, such as Reggie Martell. I must say, before Dr. Repollet got here, Mr. Martell was putting his best foot forward. Dr. Repollet came and blew the doors off the hinges with his tenacious approach to educating our kids. One thing I can honestly say is that superintendent cares about these kids. He cares about this district. And I believe that he also cares about himself and his staff, because before he put a bad product out there in terms of education, he'll walk away, and he hasn't done that, and he hasn't spoken about doing that. He only talk about what's the next step, what's the next thing we can do. So when we talk about education, understand that education comes in all forms and facets. Thank you. I'm running for re-election because, quite frankly, my first time around was to make sure that the superintendent's agenda was met and was incorporated and was also promoted on the right platform, the right way. I believe so far this board has done that. Since I've been on the board has been more cohesive. Now, to further my own personal agenda, Asbury Park School District is the largest employer in the city of Asbury Park, one of the largest in Monmouth County. We have one of the largest budgets in the county at $83 million this year. But we have a severely underemployed community. And I believe that by us getting on this board and bringing in 100 jobs could make a great difference in our socioeconomic climate here in Asbury Park. That's one. Two, I want to see our facilities improved, starting with our oldest school, the Banks Avenue, or now the Barack Obama Elementary School. That school has to go. It's old, it's antiquated, there's nothing that can be done with it from a renovation standpoint. It needs to be knocked down and rebuilt. Three, the Asbury Park School District has a monopoly. And when I say a monopoly, I mean the market is cornered. The Asbury Park School District has a monopoly on recreational, athletic, and leisure fields. The city, they own a couple of parks here and there, but when it comes down to community organizations such as AYF, such as some of our biddy basketball programs, our AAU programs coming in that need facilities to use, they have to go through the Asbury Park School District. Now, some of my counterparts that currently sit on the board, they'll say, well, look at Neptune, look at Long Branch, and look at Ocean. One thing that Ocean, Long Branch, and Neptune has is a bigger field to choose from. When I say a bigger field, I mean in terms of square mileage. In terms of square mileage, Asbury Park, 1.42 square miles, and the school district owns every leisure, recreational, or athletic outlet there is that's known to man in the city. We're not doing a good job of working with our community organizations that are feeder programs to our system, to our school district. The volunteers that run these organizations, they put their own personal time and their own personal money, and sometimes their family and households to some of our students. And we don't see that because, you know, we have other obligations in terms of like budgeting and policy setting that we don't see, or we overlook the fact that these community organizations are putting their best foot forward. And they need our help and to help them do their job better, and which will ease our job in educating and rearing our kids. Okay. Internally, I believe that there is more cohesion, but it's still a lot of work to be put in. I believe that everyone up there has an idea of how things should go, and to each his own. I have no problem with working with anybody so long as their efforts are to help our kids succeed with life beyond high school, with life beyond the Asbury Park School District. I'm talking about as community members, as in adding to the workforce, as in being a global citizen. Because right now, the way things are going in the academic world, athletic world, or any world, business, everything is international, so that makes things global. So from this point, I believe that we can do a better job as the adults in the room, or the adults in the situation, and the overseers and the key holders to the situation, and working better together. Because quite frankly, politics, you gotta remember, it's people and money. That's all politics are. People, money. Money equate people, people equate money. So when you say that, put it into this perspective. If we all have a common goal, all it has to be is one common goal, and that's our kids. To make sure our kids have everything they need to succeed. If we could put our own personal egos aside, I think that Asbury Park School District could be a force to be reckoned with. That's one concern. My second concern is it's not enough community involvement. It's not enough community interaction. I could say that our director of communication, Ms. Shantae Jackson, she does a great job on the social media outlets and things of that nature. But the message has to be a singular message, disseminated through the teachers, disseminated through the administrators, disseminated through the faculty to the community. The message has to be singular. We have to make the community feel accepted and invited to anything we have going on. Quite frankly, they don't, because honestly, sometimes the schedules don't meet up. Parents are working, you know, different hours of the evening or different hours of the day, and it just don't coincide. Parents are trying to make ends meet here, and when I say we want to create 100 jobs, in the city the size of Asbury Park, creating 100 jobs could do so much more, just not from a socio-economic standpoint, but from a confidence standpoint. From a I want to be in a room standpoint, because right now you have parents who just quite frankly don't want to deal with the teachers, who don't want to deal with the administrators, who don't want to deal with the district. It's just because they live in Asbury, they can't have to go to Asbury. But imagine if they had a stake in the situation, meaning they punched the clock and they made a good wage or a living wage. Imagine that. Imagine how that dollar recycling through our community can help. Imagine if all the board members were on the same page, where not only did we just go to board meetings or committee meetings or school events, but imagine seeing the board members at an AYF football game. Imagine what that would do for the kids. Imagine seeing them at the community days. Imagine seeing each other at the beach and just having a good interaction. I see it in other places. It's just that it has yet to reach Asbury Park. My other concern is the disconnect from the community to the district. Now, that was the district to the community. I urge the people in the community to understand that your tax dollars, whether it's income or property tax, pay these teachers. They pay our administrators, they pay our maintenance staff. Understand that you have a stake in it already. It's just that you're not being compensated. You're doing a compensating. You're paying. So if you have a question about the district, email me, call any of the board members, call any of the administrators, email any of the administrators, call any of the teachers, or email any of them if you have valid concerns. Don't just call complaining and you haven't done your research. I urge the community to do their research about what's going on in Asbury, because if we all do the same things, or we're well researched, we're well informed, there's no way Asbury Park School District can fail. There's no way we can return to what we once was, because I can guarantee we are leaps and bounds past where we once was. But the reason I need to get back on is so I can complete what I started. I want to create them 100 jobs. I want our facilities to be improved. And I also want to work closely and more tightly with the district, the city, and community organizations alike. So April 25th, man, I understand that this is not even my target audience. I know that most of my audience is not going to watch this. And I'm not afraid to say this on camera. I hope this part gets played. I understand that everybody has an idea of what they want. But if your idea is not spoken about, written about, or even disseminated to me as a board member, or to anybody on that board outside of the people that share your constituents, I would say that's failed communication, and we can't have that. So April 25th, I urge you to vote for James Familaro and Steve Williams if you want to see some serious changes in this community that could have a holistic approach and a holistic result in terms of being a good result for the community.